All right, my friends, welcome to episode 120 of Prof and Dev Play Games. I'm the Professor Larry at Prof Plays Games on Twitter, and over there is Anthony the Dev at SummerSpeak on Twitter. How's it going?
Pretty good. Ready for New Year's?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I got the sound machine, the white noise at my daughter's ears, turned up pretty loud in case there's any popping or fireworks or music or screaming, so that hopefully it won't wake her up tonight.
Is your neighborhood crazy?
It wasn't last year, but who knows? There's kids around.
I've been there. It doesn't seem like it would be that crazy.
No, not really. But I don't want to take any chances after last night.
Yeah.
I'm sort of running on fumes today. This is our Game of the Year podcast where we're actually going to rank our top 5 and mathematically decide our Game of the Year for the podcast, even though we have our individual lists. And we have a few other questions about, moment of the year, music of the year, song of the year, anticipated game for 2018. Just kind of wrapping up the year, celebrating, such a great year for games that there could be any one of the top 5 of my games could have been game of the year, in my view. And it's just, we're lucky to be gaming in these times. And I just quickly wanted to apologize for last week. It turns out there was a lot of reverb on my mic because I was recording in a different room and the sound was just making it echo a bit, and it was a little annoying to listen to. So apologize for that, and things are fixed now.
I caught it at the end when I was messing with it, but I tried my hardest to tweak it through the sound system, but couldn't.
Yeah, nothing you could do.
Couldn't really get it.
It was like in the signal from my end, and that's just because I was in a big cavernous room recording. So I'm not now. So here we go. Top 5 games of the year for 2017, recorded on New Year's Eve, and we'll post this on New Year's Day, and hopefully it will bring some cheer to the beginning of 2018, and hopefully set 2018 on a path of like good stuff. We'll see. How about you give us your number 5?
My number 5. So I went back and forth on number 5. This was the slot that was kind of a wild card. There's a few things that were vying for this place. Some things that didn't make it. Samus Returns.
What?
Top 10 game, not top 5 when it comes down to it.
Oh my god, I would totally have messed up your list.
It's probably 6 if I'm doing it this way. So like that was there.
Starting off with a shocker, jeez.
I know. So really, it was between that and this and one other game. And I made the choice on, can I see myself really coming back to the game in the future? Like, do I plan on putting more time into the game? Do I want to play it again? Which Samus Returns is great. I just don't see myself playing it again. Mm-hmm. Like, I don't need to play it on a harder difficulty. I experienced it. I completed it all on normal, collected everything. It's like, will I play it again? I don't think so. Like, I feel like I got everything out of that. It was a great experience, but I'm done. So number 5 on my list, with that said, is Final Fantasy XII, The Zodiac Age.
I would have absolutely ruined your list. Tell us what you liked.
So it is 12. It was up in the air if I put it on just because it's a remaster of a 10-year-old game, but it is the definitive edition of that game. It has all the features that were never available in the US, plus extra and upgraded textures and video. So definitive edition of probably one of my favorite Final Fantasies, that now playing it today, it still holds up really well mechanically, gameplay wise. I like the characters still, character designs, the music I really enjoy. The only thing, the story kind of falls apart in different places. The pacing is a little weird. You can tell that it was not revamped, but reimagined a bit part way through the project, and with the main guy Matsuno leaving the project, the main director, and so they took his story and kind of retweaked, especially the end. Although this time through, I'm picking up a lot more of the subtleties of the story, which is nice. So from all that, I mean, I've put between the original release when I emulated the Zodiac edition, the International Zodiac edition from Japan, and this, I've probably put 250 to 300 hours into this game over 10 years.
And did you play the original and then the emulated and then this one, or just you started with the emulated version?
No, I played the original.
Okay.
Made it about halfway through the game and then drifted off. And then probably about 5 years ago, I learned that there was this international edition that came out only in Japan, but someone had made a patch that you can take your US ROM and take the international ROM and it'll patch them together and give you localized audio and text. And so you get all the features of this Zodiac edition. And then that's where I played it 5 years ago. I just emulated it on my computer. And that was the first time I ever beat it. And then now I have this version and I'm still playing through it. So, and like I said, this is the definitive edition. It takes all those international Zodiac job system additions, but then adds even more to it. So it is the best version of this game, and I think it's going to be a game that I will go back and play probably for the rest of my life if I can, every once in a while. Like, I just enjoy this game a lot. It doesn't grate on me when I play it. I'm either pretty zenned out while playing it, or super involved with what's going on. So it hits that right spot of just something I can sit there and play and enjoy. And a ridiculous amount of content I can't imagine games having this much content anymore.
Well, I think that, okay, two questions. One, in terms of the content, we talked before that you were doing some optional stuff.
Oh, yeah.
Moving toward, I don't know, 100%ing or not, but doing most of the content. Are you done with the game for now, or are you still moving through that content?
Moving through from time to time, put it back in, play a little bit more. But it's mostly just hunting down rare monsters, fighting them. So it takes time. Have a list of all my craftable stuff that I want to do, and figuring out where the rare materials drop.
And then in terms of content, is there more content in this game than in Witcher 3 plus the 2 expansions?
Probably not plus the 2 expansions.
Okay.
And it's weird. Like, Witcher 3 zones are bigger, just because they have technology to make them bigger.
Right.
But the content that Witcher 3 has that is presented in a way that's much easier for you to know that there's more to do. I would say Final Fantasy 12, just from where it was made 10 years ago, there's a ton of content there you would probably never know about until you just run across it. And you're like, okay. Because there's no like quest log or markers or anything like that. Like,
almost like Breath of the Wild, you just like stumble upon this stuff.
Yeah, sometimes you just stumble into some areas and you're like, wow, I would have never had a clue this was here. Or you stumble into it and realize it's much higher level and you should run away. But it's just a game that just has a ton to offer for anybody who wants to sit down and engage with it.
Right.
And its systems are, in the day, were kind of thought of just weird, the AI-controlled party and stuff, but games now, if you're playing a party-based dungeon crawler game, I mean, you just assume that your party members are going to have some AI control to them.
Right.
So,
like Dragon Age Inquisition.
Yeah, Inquisition. I mean, Witcher, you don't have a party, but every time you have a companion, you expect AI to control them.
Right.
So you're just assumed in some ways if you're doing it that AI does some heavy lifting for you.
Speaking of party members in a Final Fantasy game, real quick diversion. Did you hear that Final Fantasy 15 has a patch now where you can play as any character in your party? Noctis.
I did see that.
Ignis or whatever.
I've been waiting for that.
I would like to replay it, playing as Ignis, to be honest.
I want to play the first half of that game again.
Yes. Let me rephrase. I agree with you.
Until the Venice City. I'll play through the Venice City, and then I'm done.
All right.
I feel like the Venice City should have been the end of the game. They should have redone the story so that was some big thing there.
Right.
And call it good.
Right. Because then it got real weird, real linear, and real...
Yeah.
Great.
It's just... Yeah.
So that's definitely not on our list of best games of any year. It was fun to play, though. Anyway, sorry.
So that was my number 5.
All right. My number 5 is a game that I have not finished, so I feel a little weird putting it on this list, but I've put about 25 hours into the game, and I feel like that's enough for me to know where this game is going and how good it is. And my game 5 on my list is Assassin's Creed Origins. It's in the year that I played Syndicate. It was the year after it came out. I played it in 16 when it came out in 15, and I always regretted not playing it earlier because it would have been on my top 5 for that year. And this game just blows Syndicate out of the water. I wasn't a huge fan of Black Flag. This is made by the Black Flag team. But in my view, this is Origins is obviously better than Black Flag, 'cause I didn't like Flag that much. Even though I know some people did, just the naval combat, I did not like it at all.
I did like Black Flag.
Yeah.
I played a lot of Black Flag.
Well, and you're in the majority. Like I'm certainly in the minority. A lot of people say Black Flag's their favorite, but now with Origins out, I think a lot of people's minds are changing that they really like Origins the best. And it might be recency bias, I'm not sure, but just the game is just super vast. There's just so much to the game. So the map is huge, and there are like, I don't know, 15, 18 different territories. There's so much to do. You stumble across things to do, and some things are marked on your map and some things are not. And I think a lot of people have been interested in Assassin's Creed going to ancient Egypt, and they just, the detail that they've rendered this world at is just stunning. There are things happening as you walk by that maybe no one would ever see or wouldn't spend much time looking at, like the way that the animals are interacting with the environment, or the way that the trees are swaying in the wind, or like I think I was going through a forest or a copse of trees or something, and that tree, it was like, so all the trees were swaying, but one tree was like swaying even more than the rest, like its roots were loose or something like that, and it wasn't just like all of them moving in the same way, but they were moving almost dynamically. Just little details like that just someone went through this with like a really fine paintbrush and just made sure the details were just so exact. Like after The Witcher, maybe they went back to the drawing board and were like, how can we make Assassin's Creed more like The Witcher 3? I think that the main character, Bayek, is probably the most interesting character I've seen in Assassin's Creed. Obviously I haven't played 2 very much. I don't know Ezio very well.
Ezio got 3 games, so they had a lot of time to build his character and his arc. So I don't feel like it's hard to compare other protagonists to Ezio because of that.
Well, I hope they do more with Bayek like they did with Ezio. Like, give Bayek more games. Like, he's like this medieval sheriff, or not medieval, but this sheriff in ancient Egypt that just is there to help people. He's just a good soul, even though he's straight up murdering people and stealing, looting people's houses while they're saying, thanks for helping me, man. But it's just the detail, just the intricacy of the world they've built, and then the quests, like, they're really interesting. I really like the main story. I know some people kind of bag on it because it's a little loose, but it's basically his son was killed and he's trying to exact revenge, and it's just like almost this, like, he'll go to the ends of the earth to find justice for that wrong. And the way that it introduces you to that story is a bit hands off and like just in the middle of the action, you piece it together as you go from the beginning. It doesn't really come out and straight up tell you for a while, and I thought that was interesting, like pouring through the beginning area of the game. Senu's the eagle, Siwa, and just stumbling across this like mausoleum basically where his dead son is, and I didn't have to go there. There was no quest to take me there. I just kind of stumbled across this place, and I learned some of this backstory and realized, oh, that's what this is all about. It's so fun to get lost in this world. Like, I have a main quest. It's like Skyrim, I guess, where like you have a main quest and you just stumble across side stuff. And I've spent, like, I sit down, I've got 1 hour, I'm going to do this main quest thing, and I stumble across 4 side quests and do them instead, just because they're so interesting. And just to wrap it up, it's just a visually pretty stunning game. Like, it just, it's HDR 4K. Like, I'm playing on the PS4 Pro, and I'm close enough to the TV that I can actually like soak it in. Like, it looks
nice,
gorgeous. And I know it looks better on the Xbox One X, but it's amazing. And I can't wait to finish the game. It's a game that I keep thinking about it. Like, when I want that, I'm always looking for a role-playing game or something where like I can just get immersed in the world, like I did with The Witcher, for example, and this is it. Like, hands down, this year, this is the most immersive game for me. I think it would be higher if I had finished it, but I didn't. But I played enough to know that 25 hours is enough for me to put it on this list.
So for me, that is my game that if I did play it, would be in my top 5.
Yeah.
There's been some lists that have come out recently where people are. I saw a thing that like, well, what are your top 3 Assassin's Creeds? And the consistent thing that I was seeing was, so my favorites would be AC2 Brotherhood, Black Flag, and probably AC2. And basically anyone that was saying that Brotherhood AC2 was in there and Black Flag loved Origins.
Yeah.
So I was like, I just need to play this game. And I didn't know it didn't have any collectibles in it, really.
No, you're not collecting feathers or beer bottles or... No,
yeah.
They've got rid of that.
Which is insane.
Well, there are constellations that you... It's almost like Dragon Age Inquisition, where there's like a puzzle in the sky and you fill out the constellation. There are 12 of those, which is kind of like a collectible. And there are papyrus scrolls that are like puzzles that are kind of like a collectible, but they're more like intricate puzzles. But that's kind of it.
Yeah,
so it's not that mindless.
It's really intriguing to me now. And I feel like it's right up my alley for what I want Assassin's Creed to be.
Yeah, it's. I hope you get to play it because I think you'll love it, especially if you're into the setting at all.
I was at one point. Like, Ancient Egypt doesn't necessarily do anything specific for me. But
yeah.
As a kid, I really liked Ancient Egypt and Egyptian stuff. But as an adult, I don't know. I don't dislike it or anything. But
yeah, no, there's a lot there, and also I guess the thing I didn't mention is it's not a Assassin's Creed game full of white people. Like it's
true.
Middle Eastern, dark skinned. You know, the portrayal of the region has not been whitewashed in this game, which is also nice to see.
Yeah, they didn't do that with Revelations either. That was in Constantinople.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I haven't played that game, so this is a theme then for the series.
I mean, they try to stay true to whatever region they're in. Mm-hmm. They don't. That's just part of it. They want to try to be at least as historically accurate as they can be for the story that they're telling.
Who is the main character in Revelations?
Ezio.
Okay, so
that was the last Ezio game.
So it was a white guy in that area.
Yeah, he was going. It was him traveling to Constantinople, and then also part of that was him following the trail of the first Assassin's Creed protagonist, Altair.
Yeah, right. You mean from the original Assassin's Creed game?
Yes.
Yeah, Altair.
Yeah, it was Ezio trying to learn more about him.
Uh-huh.
And like things that he had done with the Order in that area of the world. So that's the thing. The first Assassin's Creed through Revelations all kind of told a cohesive story. And then after that point, they kind of broke off and just did these one-off things.
Well, I wonder if they're going to go back to that for like Origins, like if it's the start of like a new trilogy or something, because people really like Bayek. And I wonder if he survives the game, which I don't know if he does or doesn't. I assume he does, but who knows? I wonder if they'll stick with him because it's just like the reception has been just great. And I hope they take another year off and kind of do that.
They should just take as much time as they want.
Yeah,
like,
right.
I know that they won't because Ubisoft's a public company and they have shareholders that they want to meet whatever the expected revenues and profits are going to be. But I think ideally they should just take as much time as they need on each of these games. If they're a company that can do that, just do it. Like, you'll make a better game. And clearly it shows on how much I'm seeing this praise this game's getting at the end of the year. So,
I mean, it made it to my list without me even finishing it. I just know after 25 hours how great this thing is and is going to continue to be. So, yeah, that's my number 5.
All right. So on to number 4. That would be for me Horizon Zero Dawn.
Wow, it made it that high, huh?
Yeah, it was. What was when I really thought about it, it was either going to be 4 or 5, but then I thought, no, Horizon will come in at 4, most likely. I platinumed the game, and I wasn't unhappy platinuming the game. Like, I was having a great time. It wasn't me grinding it out to platinum it. I was just enjoying the game from, one, it's absolutely breathtaking world to explore. I still love looking at screenshots people post and take during the entire game. Yeah. And it's a gorgeous game. Flat out one of the best looking games this year.
Well, it's got such a great photo mode too.
Yeah, like I mean, people post stuff. Yeah, people post photo mode shots on the PS4 Reddit.
Right.
Pretty constantly, like at least one a day that kind of makes it up there, and it still just looks amazing.
Well, and the Horizon one won the best photo or best screenshot of the year on the PS4 sub.
Nice. That doesn't surprise me. And then really getting into the game, I overall became very engaged with the story as I went on, as not as much the character of Aloy. I didn't feel really attached to her, unfortunately, but the actual story of the world, and why you have these giant robotic dinosaurs and creatures. Like, once I started piecing together what happened and the game started really going into it more and more as you play through it, I was just engaged to just keep playing and learn more, to see where this was all going and what the end was going to be. And for all of that, I actually still found it very challenging through the entire game, I guess, until I finished the last cauldron.
Yeah.
And or towards the end of the game, you get the last capacitor.
You get that power armor, right?
Yeah, once you have the power armor, the game gets a little easier. Just let you know.
Have you touched Frozen Wilds yet?
I have not. That is one of my things for next year.
Because they account for the power armor and
do they?
Yeah.
That's good. Because that made actually platinuming it some of the stuff platinuming it pretty easy. Once you had that power armor.
Yeah.
But overall, it still kept a pretty good challenge. And when I'm thinking about the things that I was doing at the end of the game and going up against like the Thunder Maws and like just these enormous fights that I was still able to execute really well, really shows how much the game takes the player seriously when they're playing it. They don't. It's fair, but they present a challenge to you, and it's like, rise to it or not, which is funny considering I don't really play the Souls games, but this one hit me just right in the fact I felt like I could, if I wanted to step back and like play a little bit more relaxed or not do huge fights and just farm some stuff, I could totally do that as well. So and then I also really appreciated the variety that it presented to me as I was playing through the game. I thought it was going to get repetitious with like the different cauldrons and climbing the long necks, but quickly they started introducing new mechanics on each time you're going in, and then some really big ones that just subvert my entire expectations of what I was expecting going in. So I appreciated that. It looked like a game that they had spent a lot of time, and it felt like for me that they had analyzed like, okay, we need to change things up here, let's do that.
That's nice, to just keep it fresh.
People. Yeah, exactly. Just keep it, and that's what kept me going through the game, is they were keeping it fresh for a lot of it. And that stuff more happens after you reach like the big sun capital.
Yeah.
After that point, then things start really spiraling with new not new mechanics, but new activities and scenarios that they're presenting you with.
Well, I just like, for me, I feel like obviously the game got Zelda'd for me.
Yeah, I can totally agree there. Like, it did for me too. Like, I played the crap out of Zelda, and then I came back to this at one point and was able to get back into it.
I just feel like for me, it's almost like the same thing with getting stuck in the hinterlands with Dragon Age Inquisition. Like, yeah. I have not I just got to Meridian basically, and I'm like below Meridian, and I can't figure out how to get up to Meridian. And I feel like once I'm in Meridian, that's when the game kind of opens up more. So I really want to push through that so I can get going. Because it's on your list. It's on a lot of people's list this year. It's my greatest regret is that I didn't get into that game. So I'm hoping to get into it next year, and to see it so high on your list, I got to do it.
Yeah, I mean, this is a game that when I talk about replay, I'm not going to replay this one. So I played the DLC, but it's definitely one that I think back on fondly throughout this year, and I probably will for many years to come. It's definitely set me up where I want a sequel to it. I want to continue exploring this world. I want to move out. Won't use spoilers. I will want to move out of the area that it is right now, and what even the DLC goes to isn't that far removed. Like, right. I want to see other parts of this world. Just huge difference. Like, let's go west really far. Let's go east really far.
Yeah, I'd like to go west too. That'd be good.
I think it'd just be really interesting. I'm very curious, and I'm curious where Guerrilla takes this now, because clearly they're going to make more of it. Sony, I'm sure, wants them to make more of this game.
What if Guerrilla's next game is a Killzone game?
It could be. They might want to take a breather and do something that they're more comfortable with.
Right.
but I doubt it. I have a feeling that they're going to start, and it's going to be a couple. I could see it taking like 3 or 4 years to make a sequel to this game.
Yeah.
So
I mean, they should take the time that they need to make it even better, because I think that from what I played, there were like just some really good stuff and some things that just didn't hit for me that I think the next one could be like the masterpiece, even though this is, you know, a strong start.
Yeah.
Just Zelda just killed it for me. All right, my number 4, if you're done.
Yeah, I am.
Okay, cool. My number 4 is one that I changed at the last second. It is Mario and Rabbids Kingdom Battle.
Oh,
This
nice.
is for the Switch. This is a game that I absolutely fell in love with when it came out on the 29th. And I fell into it for about a month, and that's all I played. I think people refer to it as like XCOM Lite, and it has, you know, striking similarities to XCOM, especially in terms of like the Overwatch mechanic, which the hero stare or whatever. Mario, Luigi, and Peach have it as well. That kind of just makes you overpowered a bit. Like there are ways to break the metagame that the late game difficulty is not that difficult if you put your team together in the right way. And it's actually one of the things I like about the game is that there's so much fun strategy around team building. Like which rabbit are you going to use? Which powers are you going to level up in the skill tree? A little thing that's annoying is that you have to play as Mario and you have to have one rabbit. So it's not as free-form team building as it could be. It's a little limiting. And I wonder if there is some behind the scenes, like we've got to have one from each world in the team, so it's actually Mario and Rabbids together at all times.
It could be that. It also could just be a balancing choice.
Yeah, right.
So they can now limit the team compositions a bit.
Yeah.
So they can be like, okay, you can't have these 3 ultra broken characters together.
Right. Yeah, if I was Mario, Luigi, and Peach throughout the whole game, it would just been a cakewalk. So that makes
exactly.
sense.
I have a feeling it's more balancing first. But then how do they theme that balance, which is make it a Mario character, a Rabbid character, plus another.
Right. And I kind of wish that you didn't have to play as Mario. You could have like Luigi and then 2
Of course,
Rabbids or
of course you do.
I mean, I love Luigi. I fucking hate Mario. I mean, I like Mario games. I hate Mario. Like, I hate Red. My brother was Mario, so I don't like him. I also really like the maps. Like, as you progress, the battle maps were just add a lot of differences, like you were talking about, like climbing the tall necks, and how the next time you did that there was some other mechanic. Same thing with the maps, like they would change constantly, so you didn't feel like you were doing the same thing over and over, even though there were like 8 or 9 challenges or battles per map. Nice. Or per world. I mean, they were different enough, and then when you beat it, you could find secret challenges, and those were like a lot more challenging than just the base game, so that was fun. Just once you beat the game, to go back through different areas and find new paths and find the new challenges or new things to do, there was a lot, maybe not a lot, but there was quite a bit to do post game, which was nice to have something else to do if you, like me, loved the game and you wanted to keep playing when it was over. And then the DLC, there's a new world coming in 2018, so I'm looking forward to that. I thought that the skill trees, the abilities, the way that they interacted with each other was really smart. Like, for example, Rabbid Luigi would have like a vampire ability where if he hit an enemy, anyone else who hit that enemy would be able to take life back. So in one boss fight, for example, I was almost to the end, and I had tried to hit as many enemies as possible with Rabbid Luigi, so that if anyone else hit that enemy, they'd get some life back. And then when I had done that, then Rabbid Luigi was killed. So he was done, and I had Mario left. Fucking Mario. And he was down to like 10, 15 hit points, and the boss was like at 100. But because I had done that with Rabbid Luigi, I was able to hit those other enemies with Mario. Like, I could slide into them and then slide into them, and then use my Overwatch and then shoot them all in one turn, and each time I got health back, so then I was basically able to regenerate Mario and then give him enough HP to kill the boss. And it was just that strategy of those abilities playing with each other, like to map it out ahead of time and really think it through. It felt like chess. Like the whole game felt like chess to me. It was really great. The music, it's a Grant Kirkhope soundtrack, and if you haven't heard the opera song yet, have you heard the opera song?
No, I have not.
Maybe save it till you play the game, but
okay.
It's not my top song of the year, but it was close. It's just smart. It just plays with the whole history of Mario in a really fun way. And then I actually really liked the Rabbids. Some of their humor was dumb, obviously, but for the most part, I liked their characterization of the Mushroom Kingdom crew.
So what's your opinion on Minions then?
I don't really know Minions. I don't watch those movies, so I don't watch
Okay.
Despicable Me, so I don't have any frame of reference at all. I know people don't like them, but I don't.
I've only watched the first one at one point. I don't remember how. I hate them. I hate them so much.
And that they're compared to the Rabbids, right?
I guess they are. So I don't know.
Yeah, I don't have that cultural baggage, so I'm just like they're all right. I mean, I think they're fun representations of like Luigi and Mario and Peach and Yoshi. And that's, I can take them as face value because I don't have any of that baggage, which I felt like was swirling before E3. Basically,
Yeah.
oh, I hate the Rabbids and all the stuff I know about them. Like, I don't know any of that stuff, and I could take it at face value and say, like, 80% of the Rabbid persona was fun and funny, and then 20% was just dumb, and I could just ignore it.
There we go.
So that's my number 4, and I hope that
Nice.
you get a chance to play it this year. I think you'd like it. Next year.
Yeah, it's on my list of I want to play it. Let's see when I have time to play all these games.
Yeah, absolutely.
I still feel like I'll have years of games to play.
Yeah, and when we get to our gaming goals for 2018, I'll expound on that a little bit more too.
So my number 3 is Mario Odyssey. Couldn't crack the 1 and 2, mostly because I felt there was that slight pacing problem in the middle of the game.
Yeah, for sure.
It ended on a high note, like super strong. Like, and the beginning was really good. It's just a couple worlds in that middle part, Luncheon specifically, just felt tacked on for whatever reason. Like,
Just like bloat almost, like we
Yeah,
didn't make
kind
it
of.
longer.
yeah,
It was like a B-side world that they just should have got rid of.
yeah, or just stuck it at the end, like they've stuck an insane amount of more content, which is another reason why it's so high.
Right.
So I feel like similar to Breath of the Wild earlier in the year, this redefined what a Mario game is, but stayed true to what Mario has been in its legacy. And I feel like it's done it in a great way for the Switch. It works really going back to Mario 64, taking that just like find another star, but compacting it into shorter play experiences with a ton more stars, moons everywhere.
Yeah.
Tons everywhere.
Oh my god.
But it's good for on the go. Like, it's been super easy for me to play it on my commute for like 20 minutes and get a moon or two during that time. I found the controls super smooth. Still kind of a peak level of 3D platformers for how easy it is to control Mario and get him to do what you want to do. And then the game, weirdly, is I feel like people were complaining about the challenge in it. It's as challenging as you want it to be, honestly.
Absolutely. Yep.
Like finishing the game and playing on the darker side of the moon. That feels like a challenge. Plus just where all the different moons are. There's definitely places like, sure, the main storyline isn't the most challenging thing out there. All the side stuff, yeah, that's a different story. And the way that they give players the ability to choose how they want to play the game and how much they want to be challenged is great. I mean, that allows it so my son can play and enjoy the game, and I can play and enjoy the game without you having to select a difficulty up front. Like,
Well, it's something that I keep hearing about this game with people who have kids. Like the people who are like, oh, it's just a little too easy, and it's easy to get through. You didn't need that many moons to move on to the next kingdom. And people are like, dude, it makes it accessible for my kids, and then we can find the challenge we want. And it gives everything to everyone.
Yep.
Which is great.
And I have to say, it's a pretty incredible amount of content in that game. I said it felt bloated at some points in the main story, but when I look at it, there's a lot of worlds, way more than I thought there was going to be. And it just keeps going, and there's more to discover in those worlds as you play them and get more moons and the whole thing. And you can go revisit after the game after you've beat it. I put in air quotes. There's a reason to go back and revisit every single world. And you've shown me stuff through Twitter and stuff posting of things I never even knew existed in that game.
Oh man, I went through New Donk City like, I think with a fine-tooth comb I found 20 more moons after like an hour and a half play session, and don't even have half the moons in that place yet.
Yeah.
There's so much more I haven't seen, but I didn't realize there was so much more nods to Mario's past in that place that just blows me away.
Yeah, it's an incredible game. I feel like a high point for the Mario series, and I'm very curious what they're going to do next with Mario. Is it going to be? Have they announced DLC for it?
They have not, and I wish they would, and I wish they would call it Super Luigi.
There you go.
Who knows? That's
see.
My dream.
But it is my number 3. It's like you said. I think it's somewhat influenced also by seeing my son play it and just grasp it so well. Like, that's really meaningful to me to see that something I've played and then he can just grasp it as well. A 7-year-old that's just like, yep, doing this.
It gives you another perspective on how well the game's made.
Yeah, because the games I've listed previously, he couldn't play at all.
No.
Not barring content. If it was just fine stuff for him to see, he could not control it. He could not probably even fight a single first robot in Horizon.
Just because all the button combinations.
Combinations and stuff.
Yeah.
So that's my number 3, and that's kind of the reasons why it has made it so far, and I'm so happy I have a Switch to play it on.
Awesome. Yeah, I'm glad you do too, so we can share some of these Switch moments even. For me, number 3, which got switched at the last second, is Uncharted: The Lost Legacy.
Nice.
Uncharted 4 was my game of the year last year, and it's more Uncharted 4, but with a different spin and just tighter. It's a much more compact, compelling story to me. It doesn't overstay its welcome. It's about 8 hours long. With collectibles, obviously you could extend that a bit, but it gets in and it gets out. It's just like that summer blockbuster movie, but with characters you don't always see leading the blockbuster, right? You got these two women who are just portrayed as just strong women. Like, they're not sexed up. I mean, they're sexy, of course, but they're just strong women.
They're doing their job,
doing their crazy adventure shit. We always see Nathan Drake doing. And I thought that was a good move to give us something different with Uncharted. I thought the characters were great. I thought the writing was good. The mechanics of the game, obviously, it's just like an Uncharted game. Like, the shooting is pretty good. We've talked at length about how I couldn't get through Uncharted 1 because it just moved to next location and shoot, move and shoot. And I think they've brought it down to a point where it's engaging shootouts, even though I still think there's too much combat in that game. Like, I think I would enjoy Uncharted more if there was less combat. But even with the amount of combat there is, it's still one of my top games of the year. It just looks amazing. I mean, Naughty Dog just knocks it out of the park, right?
Yeah.
But set in India, the different chapters had enough variation that I didn't get bored with. I don't think I could get bored anyways, but there was variation enough, even though it's in the same country, basically. I feel like that open world part, if that was out of the game or more streamlined, I think this would be even higher. But I felt like you said with Mario, like the pacing here stumbled with that open world chapter, and I kind of wish it wasn't there, but oh well, it was there. It's just every chapter, like, you weren't doing the same things. You were having those combat encounters, of course, in every chapter, but your goal for the chapter was different. And just you talked about Odyssey ending on a high note. Like, the final chapter in this game was just like the best set piece. It was just like
nice,
like adrenaline from start to finish. And there were just, Uncharted's known for its set pieces, and there were several in this game that were just like jaw-dropping. Even my wife, when she was watching while she was in the room, was just like, this game just looks incredible. Playing through that game, a lot of it, honestly, while she was watching, she was engaged, particularly because of the main characters being women and just being badass women and just not being, sexualized. Like, it wasn't like a Nier Automata thing where, like, the camera's like making love to the character basically, and you're, upskirting and whatever else. This was like, these are strong women and we're gonna like respect them as strong characters. Those are, like, all of that together is one more thing. Just their puzzles in the game. Uncharted has those. Is known for those puzzles. There were some really unique, smart puzzles in this game that were in some cases too smart, because there's a shadow puzzle where you have to do it. You move these pieces to align these shadows, and you have to do it in the right order where you don't use any more turns than necessary to get the trophy. And I look at a trophy list before I start a game. I'm like, I'm gonna fuck this up. So I just looked at the guide. I'm like, I'm doing this. And as I did it, I was like, I probably couldn't have figured that out on my own. So yeah, I'm glad to have done that.
I would actually say that Uncharted 4 had some of the weaker puzzles overall. Yeah. You just get through them. They were easy for the most part. Like, I could have had Uncharted 4 have a little bit harder on the puzzles.
I can't even remember what the puzzles
exactly
were.
They weren't that memorable. They were just quick to get through. Like, I can't remember. I remember one thing in a tomb aligning, like looking through viewports and aligning things, but it wasn't memorable puzzle stuff. And so the fact you're saying that the puzzles here were somewhat interesting, that makes me happy.
Well, and there's another puzzle, the shadow puzzle, but there's my favorite one was like these statues with like axes, and it was like a 4x4 grid, and you have to get from one side to the other to progress to the next room, which had another grid. But every time you moved, they moved. So then you had to. It was like a maze basically, and if you did it wrong, you got hit and had to start over. And that was my favorite puzzle, maybe in any Uncharted game. Like, it was. I didn't look at a guide for that one at all, because when I started it, it was just so fun. I knew there was a trophy for doing it without getting. I think it was like for doing it without getting hit or something like that. But I didn't care, because I wanted to do it on my own. And it was. When I think back to that game, that's one of the high points that I think about, outside of the set pieces, which were just stunning.
Nice.
So if you're an Uncharted fan, I know you are.
Yeah, I need to play it.
I hope you get to it one day. It's
when I have the budget for all this. How?
Yeah. No. And the time. And
the time and the money budget. Is like it just kills me, because this year is insane.
Yeah, it's just been such a great year, and we can spend 2018 playing 2017 games. And
pretty much.
This should be one of them. But Uncharted 4 was my game of the year last year, and this one's not my game of this year. Not because it wasn't as good as 4. I think it was better than 4. To be honest, just because I think 4 was a little long, and like you said, some of the things were not as memorable as previous Uncharted games. But it stands below 2 as my favorite Uncharted game.
Nice.
That's just stunning. So that's my number 3 for the year.
All right. So my number 2. So 1 and 2 went back and forth a lot on 1 and 2. Do you have a guess at what my 2 is?
I think you're going to surprise me and say that your number 2 is Breath of the Wild.
It's not. It's Persona 5.
Oh, okay.
So this one, I mean, only by a hair isn't my number 1. And which you shouldn't be able to guess what my number 1 is at this point. But we'll get to that. This is a game that doesn't sacrifice substance for style. It has both in spades. And then it has stuck with me since I've played it over this 100 hours over like in May and June. It is a game I constantly come back to and think about. I listen to the soundtrack. I've watched the beginning of the game played, like the first 10 hours. I've had that on as a let's play while I've been working sometimes, because I just enjoy the opening and the learning the characters and meeting all the characters, the first initial 3, 4.
That's
which
Ryuji.
Points back to the fact that I actually really like the characters.
So in the first 4 characters, it's Ryuji Sakamoto. Not Sakamoto. What's the girl's name?
Anne.
First. Oh yeah, that's right. Morgana. Is that
Morgana's the 4th?
Yeah.
So
okay.
And then
Tasuke Starku.
Exactly. Although they have a different. So I went with whatever was the canon name at the time.
Yeah.
Because there was like some short animated thing that came out before Persona 5 came out. It's like a 20-minute anime, but they're doing a full anime, and they put out that trailer for the dancing P5D.
Mm-hmm.
And they gave the protagonist a different canonical name.
Why did they do that, by the way?
And it's going to be different for the anime coming out. Like, they're doing the whole story as an anime as well. And I don't know. I'm like, okay, so
Japan,
different name,
Atlas.
Whatever. Sure.
Yeah.
Okay. So to me, I mean, what sticks with me, I mean, it has strong characters that have very distinct arcs through the entire game. And you get really involved with these characters and learn a lot about their ins and outs and why they are how they are. Like you said before, Ryuji is super annoying, and he is, but you get deeper and deeper into like him and why he's so angry and what's going on. Like, it's even, I'm sure where you are, hinted at what happened.
Yeah, I got some dirty ideas.
Yeah. And beyond that, I actually feel like the story is just, when we talk about 2017, it's a very relevant story for 2017.
Yeah.
Which, I mean, it's all about rebellion and challenging those in power, and people abusing their power and being held accountable for the power that they have, and what they've done. And in a weird way, you could take this game as like it's going to be super cynical in the end, and that these people can get away with doing these awful things throughout the game, and what you learn about like all the different major antagonists. But it doesn't in the end take a cynical view of it. It takes a very much a view of it's up to the youth, to the less empowered, to stand up and fight that power. And if you do fight that power, you can see justice be done.
Well, and it's, I'm not going to spoil this. I'm not going to say who it is, but I know who the final boss fight is, and that it takes it all the way up to the top.
Okay.
Like, that's just, fighting the power. Like, that theme seems to be, from what I understand, just like taken to the max, basically.
It is, and that's just part of the game, and I feel like it's very relevant for the current world climate.
Yeah.
And it made it so it just resonated with me, probably more than it would in like other years. Although, like, these are themes that resonate with people, like themes of rebellion and justice, making people be held accountable for abuses. Like, those are all themes that you can see throughout storytelling. So this one just hits it really well, and it gives you characters to attach yourself to while playing it.
Well, it's a game that's been in development. Like, it was supposed to come up on PS3 when there was no PS4. So these themes are, obviously wind through history.
Exactly.
It's not new now. It just seems to be a lot more like in your face right now.
Exactly. And I would say, to me, it has the best music of the year, and my best song will be coming from this game.
Yeah.
I don't know what more to say about it. It's an incredible game. It's one that I do plan on. I have a New Game Plus playthrough. I just haven't touched it in a while, but I kind of want to go through it again. There's parts that I want to play and see again and experience.
Well, it's a game that, based upon my time with Persona 4, I put about 10 hours into that game and really liked what I played. Just moved away from the Vita for some reason. I picked it up 5 on your, just gushing all year about it, basically. And I've put, I don't know, how far do you think I'm? Like 4 hours? 3 hours? 3.5? Something like that?
I'd say about 4 or 5, probably. Maybe a little.
Okay.
Oh, yeah. No, 4 is a good guess.
Yeah, I think 4. It's just exactly what I want. Like, it's the writing is phenomenal. Like, the style is through the roof. It's a game that I definitely want to finish in 2018. And if I had played more this year, it would have been on my list, hands down. It's so far good, and I know that there's a lot more good stuff coming up. Yeah, I just can't wait. I'm glad that you liked it so much.
Yeah, it's going to go down as a game, one of the best games I've ever played, I'm sure.
Yeah. But clearly there's one more ahead of it.
Yeah,
we'll get there in a second. My number 2, and I'm surprised as hell that it's on this list, because it wasn't going to be on this list until after I beat the game. And not only after I beat the game, but then started doing post-game stuff, that I realized how great this game is. And it's Super Mario Odyssey. Talked a couple weeks ago about how I didn't think this was going to be in my top 5 at all. But I got out of the fucking Luncheon Kingdom, and then it really picked up.
You beat it. Beating it is incredible. Like, that last...
so awesome.
I don't know how much we care about spoiling, but the last hat throw.
Yep.
I should have seen it coming forever, but I didn't. And when it was about to happen, it was incredible.
I can't believe I didn't see it. And they did like a really smart thing where the earlier fights with that character, you jump in his hat and you attack him by punching. So you're not throwing your hat at him. You throw your hat at the hat, or you flip it over and jump in it. And it was a good way for me to not think about throwing my hat at him. And then once you throw your hat at him at the end, it's like I was just like, oh duh, of course this is where this is ending. And then
and the references they have is that final
as you're going
taking
through
you're taking control. Oh god, that was so good.
It was just like all the nostalgia buttons, right?
Yeah.
This game, like I knew it was something special when I got to the Metro Kingdom. Like it was so interesting to have like that felt like an ending level, and it was like a
peak game level.
Yeah, exactly. It was like we're gonna give you like two endings basically. Like we can't decide which one's better, so we're just gonna give you both, and we'll give you this one early. Like New Donk City, like all the nostalgia, all the finding all the 2D levels, like playing the original Mario Brothers on the theater screen. Like there's a 2D level where it's on a cube, and you're traversing each side of the cube. There's just so much smart stuff just in that level alone. I just after the post game, I spent another 2 hours just collecting moons and just having fun. It's just a game, something that I talked about with Rocket League a lot, but this is a game that really just perfects the 5 minutes of fun.
Yeah.
Like you said, on your commute, like if, I put my kid down, I know she's going to be awake in half an hour, and I take a shower, come out, I got 5 minutes left, I'll pick it up, I'll play for 5 minutes, because I know I can get 2 or 3 moons, and then just put it back down and feel great about having played that short amount of time, which for other games, like that's just 5 minutes is not enough time to get back into like who your character was.
Not at all.
I really liked the variety of the moon challenges along the way. Like you said, it could be as hard as you want. So, if I'm in Tostarena or whatever, Tostarena, I could get the 15 easy moons, or I could mix it up and try to find harder moons to move on. Like it's up to you really to make it as challenging as you want it to be. And then just the post game, I forgot how much I loved Mario 64. And obviously the gameplay brings that back. But then when you beat the game, it comes back in a big way.
It does, and you're like, oh my god, we're here.
And I still haven't found or captured the green dude. What I'm talking about. I'm sure he's on the roof somewhere. No, I couldn't figure out how to get on the goddamn roof, and I'm sure that's where he is.
Do you want any kind of a little hint on how to get to the roof?
Absolutely do. Yes, please.
If you're looking at the front gate and everything, the front of the building,
right,
off to your left, there's a place where you can throw your hat at a timer thing, which will get a staircase to the roof.
Oh, I've been trying to climb up the goddamn windows. Like I drained the moat. I was trying, and I thought, well, I needed to swim. I couldn't fucking figure it out. Okay, awesome.
Yeah, there's just a thing then. You can go over there. Was it one of those scarecrow type things?
Yeah. Uh-huh.
Yeah, you just had it, and then you get a staircase that goes away after a few seconds, but enough time for you to get up there.
I want to get up there, capture him, run him over the edge, get on the edge, come out of him, and just like watch him fall to his death, like you do so many times in that game. Let's see what else. There's something hiding around every corner. It's either like a regular coin or like a hidden block, or like a pipe into like a 2D section, or a purple coin, or a moon, obviously. And then just that post-game area where you're not looking for moons, you're looking for stars instead. I just fell in love with the game after I beat the game.
Yep.
And that last section with who you capture and that whole thing is awesome too. And to have Peach, her ending to this game be the beginning for her, like such a smart way to handle her. And I liked seeing Nintendo kind of progress a bit there.
How about we have the DLC be
even better? That's a good idea.
Super Peach Odyssey.
That's a better idea. Forget Luigi. Let's do Super Peach Odyssey. That's a great idea. I wonder if they're even going to do any DLC, or if like Mario's just their sacred cow and they're not going to do anything.
They might do DLC on it. They could just do a whole nother game eventually. Give it a few years.
And I guess the last thing to talk about is just the capture mechanic in and of itself. There are no power-ups other than capturing things. And each, I just listened to the 25 Hours of Giant Bomb podcast, and they have, like best game, worst game, best story, best ensemble of characters. But they also have some funny categories that change every year. Like this year it was like best game moment, and then the next category was best Wolfenstein 2 moment. Because there were so many Wolfenstein 2 moments, they had to choose the best out of all of them. But one was best Mario Odyssey capture. And I forget what their number 1 was, but one of number 3 was like meat in the Luncheon Kingdom.
Oh yeah, and you
capture the meat into Twitch.
Yeah.
Oh no, Pokio was their first, the Pokio bird.
Okay.
Which they could make a whole game based on that mechanic. Like just like the mechanic alone of the Pokio bird, like, you know, putting your beak into something and flinging yourself forward, like that in and of itself was kind of like a really fun mini game in this game full of small games. Like there's so much to this game that like opened up for me as the more that I played and kind of pushed past that middle kind of bad pacing, I thought.
It's true.
So I only have 280 moons. Like there's much more to do. And I can't wait to do it.
I'm only like 250 something.
Oh, you just barely got to the dark side of
the moon.
Oh yeah,
I was like, okay, I've got to get to that. And there's still so many worlds that I need to revisit.
Right.
And New Donk City, like there's so much in New Donk City that like I didn't even know about that theater. I don't even know where the hell that is in New Donk City.
You'll find a line of people and that'll be your hint to go in that door. Yeah, it's and I put that video where I was in the subway just like trying to do like this timer challenge, and when I got to the back there was a black hat with eyes, and gave me a moon because I found him. I was like, what? There's another hat around here. There's Tiara and Gappy and this black hat. Like, what's going on here?
Well, you start in a whole world of hats.
Yeah,
there's a whole universe of these a whole civilization of hats.
Right. Well, in that
such
first
a
world,
weird game.
in the first world, you don't see other ones with eyes, though, do you?
Yeah, you do.
Really?
That Hatville, like the tutorial area at the beginning. Mm-hmm. Yeah, there's other hats there. I think they have eyes. Or if you go back there afterwards, they have eyes.
Oh, okay. I'll go back and check it out. But Mario Odyssey is number 2 on my list. Just everything you said plus everything I said. Like, it's just
I think
stunning.
I can guess your number 1 and my number 1.
Yeah, so we could maybe talk about this together.
So, Zelda Breath of the Wild, huh?
Actually, no. Mine's Witcher 3.
It would be Witcher 3 every year if it could, couldn't it?
It would be. No, it's Breath of the Wild. Just way to upend everything about everything.
Like I said with Mario, it still feels like a Legend of Zelda game, but they've basically upended what a Legend of Zelda game is at this point. They kept some of the basic trappings. You play Link, you run around a world, find things. But holy crap, did they do more with that than I ever imagined that they would. And they just destroyed what an open world game should be and could be.
They like set the standard. Like, everyone's going to be copying this, right?
Yeah, and it's funny because it's just like, I mean, when I break it down, they did the stuff that is probably the stuff you look at and go like, oh yeah, I mean, that makes total sense. You would do that. Like, focus on movement as the fun part of the game. So running around the world, gliding. Now they have the master cycle, riding a horse.
I can't wait to get that thing.
Any of that stuff, just the act of exploring and like moving in the world is fun. Like,
well, and talk about like the small pieces of Odyssey that were fun. Like this, like I can climb and paraglide all day. Like that's all I want to do.
which you're like, of course, an open world needs to have fun movement. That's the thing is, it's not easy to make that. Like, that is a design thing you put on the board and say, yep, we should do that. The amount of time and iteration it takes to actually get that constantly feeling good to be the core that you're just like, you know what? I could spend a dozen hours just running in this world, collecting nothing, fighting nothing, just running, climbing, jumping, gliding. Sure. It's not something you get that level of polish at quickly. And that's why I feel like a lot of previous open world games never hit this point, because they never take the time or have the time and resources to polish the locomotion up as well as this game does.
Well, I like how in the development they, like Aonuma or whoever else was in charge of the game, said, okay, you got 2 weeks, take the game home, play it, come back, and we'll refine it even more. Yeah. And they kept doing that. Like, they kept iterating and kept refining. Yep. You know, it's obviously time and budget, but I mean, for me, exploration, but also the fact of the map marking, where like Assassin's Creed, you like do the tower and the stuff fills up your map. Like, this is just like you get to the tower and it's like look around, like do it yourself. Like there's no hand holding here. No,
there isn't. And that's another thing where you look like, oh, people should be able to explore a world. That seems like a pretty obvious thing from an open world scenario, but rarely would any designers or teams be like, well, to do that, we should just remove checklists and basically quality of life stuff, because that's kind of feel like all the Assassin's Creeds before, Witcher 3, things like that. It became a certain, well, it's quality of life. People want to know what's around.
Well, and also I think that the developers are like, we spent a lot of time making this side quest. We want you to fucking find it.
Yeah,
like,
I mean, that's true. Like, find content.
There's stuff in Breath of the Wild we can't find. I mean, not that we can't find, but we probably haven't found. There's stuff you haven't found, I haven't found that.
I found something new. So I've been playing it. So I got it for Christmas. Finally, my Switch version. I started it again.
So what's in the Explorer's Edition, by the way? I know you got that
it's
one.
It's a little book that just gives you basically, think of it as a very glorified, like, 50-page manual. So it just talks about a lot of the not mechanics of the games, but things that you'll come across in the game, like what a shrine is, towers, different types of enemies, what to look out for, things like that. My sons loved reading it. So, and it also came with this like really cool map, which I actually want to frame. I have it. Awesome. I have it laying flat right now, getting all the creases out of it. But it looks it's the map of the world. Like whenever you pause the game and bring it up, but it's done in a slightly like more parchment looking thing. Like It's really cool. I think that's what came in it. That's all.
You have the Link to the Past map framed in your house, right?
I do. That's an artist, Bill Mudrin, made that. Like yes, I do have that framed. I have a couple Zelda maps. I have the Link to the Past, Hyrule, Light World, Dark World, which was a piece of fan art that I got. Love that guy's work. And then a friend got me downstairs. I have a woodcut with laser engraved on it, woodcut of Ocarina of Time map.
Awesome.
So I do like my Zelda maps.
Yeah.
So,
but this version didn't come with the season pass, right?
No, it doesn't come with season pass.
Okay.
Which I still need to get. Which I feel like do I need to get that immediately?
No.
I didn't think so. Like it's going to be a while before I'm at a point where I'm even at a Divine Beast again.
The only thing that you need immediately, that not need, but the Hero's Path, where you can see where you've been, is really cool.
Okay.
But you don't need it. And I just beat the first part of the second piece of the DLC. It was fun and tedious, so I don't think you're in any hurry to get there.
Okay. So yeah, like more on like when you feel about like the exploration and the removing of these checklists, it opens the world up to you as the player. Like you said, you can just be on a tower and you can look for things, or you can just be like, I don't know, there's probably something off this direction. Let's just go. And you'll find something. And you'll most likely be surprised by it, because holy crap.
It was a little less punishing to kind of jump off the tower and paraglide, because you could always fast travel back. Like if you went somewhere and there was nothing, but that never happened. Everywhere you went, there was something.
Yeah, I never was like, oh, I made the wrong choice. I've never felt like I made the wrong choice in that game of like, I shouldn't have flown this direction. Like, no, there's something here. I might have made the wrong choice and being like, oh god, this is way more challenging than I thought it was going to be. But I didn't stop myself. I'm like, okay, fine, let's figure out how to overcome this challenge or find a sneaky way around it. This game is, and now playing it again, starting again, this past week has made me been like, this game is incredible.
And are you doing it differently? Because you're off the plateau now, right?
I am off the plateau. I just finished up in Kakariko the first time. I need to go to Hotno now. I'm speeding through those, just trying to go as quick as possible to Hotno to get the camera.
Right. And
just finish that part, and then I don't know what I'll do. There's so much in different areas that I didn't explore. I'm not going to the desert first. Hell no. Not going back there.
I'm sorry, my headphones just fell out of my microphone, so I didn't hear where you're not going back to.
The desert.
Oh, God. Yeah.
I'm not going to start at the desert. I'm not taking your original choice.
Yeah, I think that I would... I think a lot of people went to the fish... Not fish.
They kind of guide you up there first. Because if you go to Hotno and do that, and do you go back to Kakariko after that? I think there's something that says, hey, go back and talk to Impa again.
Yeah.
And from Impa in Kakariko, the shortest way to like one of the leaders is into the Zora area.
Yeah, Zora, there we go. I ignored it or didn't pay attention and just went to the hardest one first, which is fine. Another thing I really liked about the game, other than the fact that there's like a surprise around every corner, just like Odyssey, and the fact that it's pick up and play and put back down after a couple minutes if you want to, just like Odyssey, or Odyssey is just like it, is the environmental interactions. Like,
oh, yeah.
You're wearing metal, that lightning's going to shock you. You want to light the field on fire and then like use the hot updraft to paraglide and then start raining arrows down people? Go ahead. You want to put metal on the mast of your ship and then use your magnetic ability to push it across the water? Go ahead. You want to put those whatever balloon things on your raft and fly across the world? Go ahead. Like every time you said, "Can I do this?" it said yes, except for climbing up a mountain when it's raining.
Yep, exactly.
Oh my god.
One thing, I saw a video of someone doing it today, fishing with a metal chest.
What?
So they were sitting on a rock.
Uh-huh.
It was a lightning storm. They magnetized a metal chest and then swung it into the river and stuck in there, and the lightning struck the chest in the river and like killed a bunch of fish. And then they just went and collected all the fish.
Oh my god. See, and they thought about that. Like Nintendo's like, let's do this.
Well, it's not even that.
One person's gonna do
from
it.
a design standpoint, they probably didn't even think through it more than that fish are an object that can take damage.
Mm-hmm.
So it's just they programmed in base interactions. So it's like, yes, lightning causes damage in an area around things that get hit. Lightning goes through water a bit, so it does damage in a certain radius in this water. Hey, fish take damage. Done.
Yeah.
I don't know. Like maybe someone tried it there and was like, this needs to happen. But I have a feeling just from a base systems design programming level, it would have worked if someone had just tried it, just because of how it was set up.
Yeah, and I wonder if anyone did. That just seems like.
When they say they're having the team take it home for 2 weeks and or play and bring back, I'm sure someone did.
Yeah.
Because why not? Let's see what happens.
Well, I'm just excited about the next year of gaming because there's so much of that game I still haven't done. I've only done 60 shrines. In terms of the DLC, I've only I did master trial mode, or the whatever the heck it is, where you're going through the dungeon.
Yeah.
40 challenges to get, power up your master sword. I only started that, and then I've just beat the first 4 pieces of the new DLC because I want to get that bike. But there's, I've put 90 hours into that game and probably seen 40% of what the game has to offer.
Yeah.
And it's like the game world that I've played that I've just fallen in love with the most and just got lost in the most, because it's just this fantasy setting, this natural place that just is beautiful, fun to explore. Just so good. And I thought the sparse story was well done as well. I think some people criticized it, but I liked the vignettes that pieced together. I thought it was interesting enough.
And like we've said in previous things, this game is a sequel to a story that happened that you never played.
Right.
And that's just part of it. It's not meant to be the main story of seeing how Ganon retook the world and messed everything up. That's not this. This is a weirdly calming experience now. The adrenaline story has already been done, and that's fine. Now it's time for you to figure out how to fix everything.
I thought that the DLC was going to delve more into you playing in the game that this is the sequel to, but you don't really. But I want to see them Majora's Mask this thing. You got the engine, you got the physics, you got the assets. Make another one in a couple of years. It just is. It might be recency bias, but this is one of the best games I've ever played. Top 5 for sure, with a bullet.
I would agree. It's up there. And playing it again,
replaying it, so quickly
and playing
after
it
you played it already.
Oh, it's interesting in this past week getting back into it and being this is really good. Absolutely love it.
Well, the math is pretty easy. Prof and Dev Play Games podcast, Game of the Year for 2017 is Breath of the Wild with 10 points. Runner-up in second place with 7 points is Super Mario Odyssey, and runner-up in third place with 4 points is Persona 5. In a year of just 10 games that could have been Game of the Year. It's such a feat.
I'm okay with those 3 games. Those are really good games.
God. Yeah, that's like if I only had maybe those 3 games for a couple of years to play, I would probably be pretty happy.
Yeah. It's like crap. I can't believe Nintendo with those 2 games though. Like
what a year for Nintendo, man.
Yeah.
What a year. And just God, what a time to be gamers.
Yeah.
But Nintendo's like roared back in a pretty big way this year, and this rumored Direct in January, we're gonna
I've
probably
seen
learn
that.
about their 18 plans. Have you seen all the placeholders on Amazon?
I have. I'm like, sure,
Twitch
whatever.
title
Yeah.
17, 18, whatever. It's funny.
We'll see. I don't think it's the entire 18 plan. You'll get a couple nuggets, and
It better be Mario Odyssey DLC.
I just have a feeling it's just, as we've seen Nintendo in this past year, they want to keep drip feeding news out
Right.
because it keeps them in the news. So this will probably be some stuff coming in for the first half of the year, likely maybe a tease of something at the second half. But I think they're going to focus on things that you're going to be getting sooner rather than later.
And that's fine. I want to know what I'm going to be playing soon.
Yes, I think a lot of people do, actually.
Yeah. Speaking of something you're playing soon, let's go to one of these questions that we have about looking forward. What's your most anticipated game for 2018?
So I was looking through 2018 stuff, and I was there's one previously that if you had asked me, say, 4 months ago what my most anticipated game was, caveat being I'm not sure some of these games are actually going to be in 2018.
Mm-hmm.
They say they are, but I can see them slipping. Would have actually been Anthem. And then all this Battlefront
That's
2
not
stuff.
coming out in 18.
But then all this Battlefront 2 stuff happened,
Mhm.
and now I'm very worried about Anthem.
Yeah. Well, and
which
what
makes
BioWare did with Mass Effect Andromeda too.
I mean, I put Anthem up as being better because it's part of not weird spin-off studio.
Yeah.
Like
so
this
the
is
A-team,
this is the
basically.
A team making this game.
Yeah.
This is the main Mass Effect team was making this game. But I worry that with the push for loot boxes and paid content in that way, that game could be ruined really quickly. And so it's kind of dropped now. And so looking at the list, one that just got announced, I think like 3 weeks ago, it's sequel to a game that got me to buy a PS3 originally, or really want a PS3, which was Valkyria Chronicles.
Valkyria Chronicles 4?
Yeah.
Wow.
I'm super excited for that game.
Wow.
I've only ever played the original Valkyria Chronicles. I didn't play 2, or did 3 even come? I don't even know if 3 came out in the US.
3 didn't come out here, no.
But 2 wasn't that great from people that I knew played it. Just they wanted to make it portable, and it didn't work as well on a portable device, and just not enough power.
Right.
But I love the original Valkyria Chronicles. And I was just I'm super excited to get a 4th one, or just I would say a true sequel to that first one. So that's the one I'm most excited for, that I think that is coming out in 2018.
Right. And are you hoping to get it for Switch or PS4 or
is
PC?
it coming out for Switch? If it's coming for
I'm pretty
Switch,
sure.
I will be getting it for Switch.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's on Switch.
Yeah, I'll get it for Switch if it's coming for Switch. My most anticipated game ever, which won't be in 2018, is Cyberpunk.
Oh yeah, 2077, which will
Well,
come
not
out in
2077.
2077. Yeah, that's a tired joke, but I still think it's funny.
That's still my most anticipated game coming out sometime in the future.
Yeah.
So there.
I think
There you go.
I think based on the pedigree of the CD Projekt Red now, like I'm excited about that too. Even though I don't really care about the setting so much, but I just Siri has to be in that game somewhere.
I'm sure.
Yeah, so that'd be fun. For me, I'm gonna see if you can guess. It's a Switch game. Do you have any idea what might be my most anticipated game?
Oh no, because I actually was thinking it was going to be a PS4 game.
Mm-mm. What were you thinking?
Left 4
PS4?
Dead 2. Not Left 4 Dead. That's
Left 4 Dead 2 came out a while ago.
Yeah. The Last of Us.
No, I don't think that's going to be 2018 anyways. I'm looking forward to it, but my most anticipated game is a Switch game. Any guess?
No.
It's Fire Emblem Switch.
Oh.
Like I saw
that's
your post about.
Do you think that's coming out this year?
100%, yeah. I think Fire Emblem for Switch will definitely be out in 2018. I saw your posting about top game for each console that you've owned, and I was ribbing you a bit on your Link to the Past choice, even though I think that's a phenomenal game.
You mean
or Link Between
Worlds?
Worlds? I mean, yeah, Link Between Worlds. And I was thinking, what is my top 3DS game? And it's Fire Emblem Awakening.
I figured it was going to be that for you.
Yeah, Awakening is just phenomenal, and it's just I fell in love with Fire Emblem, and I've played Fates. I still need to get to the new one that came out this year, the remake of Gaiden, basically. But Fire Emblem for Switch, that'll be the one game that I buy full price day one this next year.
Maybe that will be in the January Direct.
I hope so. Like,
although I see it as it'd probably be a fall game.
Yeah,
and I just don't think they're gonna. It's the one I could see them teasing it, like showing a little bit, because they teased it this past 1 year ago, right?
And they just said it's coming.
It's coming. So I feel like there could be a tease with a little bit of graphics, basically.
Right.
And then it'll be like, with 2018 as the date, and no specifics. Just being like, yep. And that's probably going to be their big holiday release.
Yeah, I imagine it's going to be November, October release, and I just can't.
Yeah.
I can wait because I can continue playing the Fire Emblems that I have, but that's the game that I want the most this next year. I just can't wait. Yeah,
I can see that.
So in terms of the list that we just went through, what game do you think would have been on your list if you had played it or played more of it?
I said AC Origins.
Mm-hmm.
It's that and Uncharted Lost Legacy, I'm sure.
Yeah.
Like, those two games would have probably made my list. One, because I like Uncharted, and everything you've said, Uncharted Lost Legacy is just more of that. And somewhat refined, which is nice. And then AC Origins, just from what you've said, and then from seeing those things written online where people are saying, if you like these other Assassin's Creeds, which I really do like, you'll like Origins a lot. So that has pretty much solidified my my choice there, that I need to play Origins sooner rather than later.
Yeah, I hope so. God, it's good. And, another 70-hour game,
Yeah, exactly. I'll figure out where I'm going to put that in.
Just put it on the Switch, Ubisoft. Come on.
I'm pretty sure the Switch couldn't play that game.
No, definitely not. For me, I also mentioned it earlier, it's Persona 5. If I had more time with that game, it would have supplanted something. Maybe, I don't know what. Maybe Origins if I had finished Persona 5. Like, the only reason Origins wasn't higher is because I didn't finish it. So I don't know, but Persona 5 would have been it. And then this year, all these games that we played, there were a lot of good music. And you mentioned that your favorite song comes from
Persona 5.
P5?
Yeah.
Okay. Which song?
It's called Life Will Change by Lynn. Like, that's the one I came down to. There's basically 5 songs I really like in the game, so that's the one I chose right now. The soundtrack is incredible overall. It fits the mood. Lynn is this, I hadn't heard of her before, but she's a Japanese singer songwriter, and she does most of the music in the game, all the vocal stuff. It's incredible. It just fits the game so well, and the art and the style. Best battle music ever.
Yeah, I heard a couple of battle tracks, like in the Giant Bomb Deliberations, the music section, like they played like 20 songs from Persona 5. So they were just like, it's so good.
It is. And even the slower stuff is really good. Like, probably my runner-up is a song called Beneath the Mask. One, the lyrics are just really fun, and then it's just a much slower. If you continue to play it more, you'll hear it whenever you're walking around certain towns or whenever it's raining out. And it's very melancholy and just, but really stuck with me a lot. So
I think for me, my runner-up comes from Persona 5, which is crazy because I haven't played much of it. But the music that plays when you're just like in your house or just roaming around, like just the mellow. Like, I could listen to that song for hours,
and you will.
It's really just mellow. Yeah, exactly, which is good. That's the mark of a good background music, basically. But for me, my favorite song of the year actually comes from Super Mario Odyssey, and it's the Steam Gardens theme.
Oh.
If you remember, like, the surf rock song.
Yeah.
That is my favorite song from the year. Like, I listen to it a lot. You get that MP3 player where you can listen to the songs again.
Yeah.
I love that song. Like, it's just that surf rock guitar kind of twang just sticks with me. I cannot get it out of my head. Which in a year where that opera song from Mario Rabbids probably would have been it.
Yeah.
Like, it's weird to see this like non-vocal just like track. It's so good. It is so good. And that brings us to favorite gaming moment of the year. Like, in any game, like, what was the one moment that just stands out?
For me, honestly, because I just replayed it, emerging into Hyrule and Breath of the Wild.
Leaving the plateau?
Not even leaving the plateau.
Okay.
When you leave the Shrine of Resurrection and like it pans back and you go up to that ledge and you just look out and you're like, that moment is incredible. It's breathtaking.
Right.
And I just experienced it again and I'm just like, yep, that's fresh in my mind. And that is a very good moment. There's a few others, but that's the one that is like epitomizes, I think, my year in gaming.
Yeah. For me, my moment, and I kept going back and forth on here. I thought it was probably the festival in New Donk City.
That one's really high.
It is. I think it's my runner-up, but I keep coming back to Eventide Island from Breath of the Wild.
Yeah.
Just going there for the first time and realizing what's happening, like that. And then I spent, I don't know why, like I could do it now in like 5 minutes, but I spent nights trying to beat that. Like nights. Like it was like 5 nights in a row. Like it was just, I was trying different ways and like just, oh my God, I love that whole experience. It was like a microcosm of the whole game.
It really was.
Oh, it was amazing. And then the last thing for our podcast for this year is 2018 gaming goals. Do you have any?
No, actually. I thought about it and I don't really set goals for my gaming. I just kind of I just need to let myself flow with what my mood is telling me to play, what I want to do.
Right.
Anytime I try to set like specific things that I'm trying to do, I will get disinterested in those things. When it comes to game, it's just this weird it's like, this is my way to relax. So I just need it to be that. I need to flow through games. And like, if it's me playing on PC for like a few weeks in a row of just playing Steam stuff and back catalog, fine, I'll do that. If it's getting excited for a PS4, a Switch thing, like it's just kind of how to go. I guess in goal wise though is, in a weird way, trying to play more of the games I want to play in a budget that I can handle. Because there's a lot coming out and it's really hard to keep up, especially when you have multiple consoles and a PC.
Yep, I agree. And that's what my gaming goal for 2018 is going to be helped a little bit because of GameFly, where I can get some of those new games without sinking a huge cost in to buying, keeping them. Like it's $15 a month basically, and I can usually get 3 or 4 games a month, depending on shipping speed. But my gaming goal in the past has been like, here's a list of 12 games I'm going to play, and I never play them. Like once I see that I say I want to play those games, I'm going to do these 12 things, I don't do them at all. Because same with you, I want to relax. I don't want to like feel like it's like a chore.
Yeah.
But my gaming goal for 2018 is going to be so hard, and I'm really, really going to stick to it. I'm going to spend no more than $1 a day on gaming purchases for 2018, which means $365 for the whole year. I'm not going to make any purchases before November, except for if Fire Emblem comes out before November. So I'm not going to buy any new games. I'm going to play the games from this year or the games that I get from GameFly. And, I kind of get caught up like every month, like buying I probably buy like 3 or 4 games a month. And I don't have the time to play them right now.
No.
And I have tons of games right now for, my PC. I have like a Steam library of 400 games, PS4, basically the same. My Switch, the NES Classic, Super NES Classic, my Wii U, 3DS, Vita. I have enough now. I need to go back and play what I have. So I just want to spend time with the games that I have. And if that means next year, the only game I play the whole year is Persona 5, then that's what it's going to be.
And that's okay. I am completely okay with if you did that. We can spend every week talking about what you've done in Persona 5, and I'd be okay with that. Listeners might not be okay with it, but I'd be okay with it.
Yeah, there's definitely a part of it, like this podcast, like I need to stay current, and I will. But I need to rein in the spending, not so much like obviously I need to budget, but it's more about like I have limited time now. Like I really need to I have Nier, I have Persona 5, I have Horizon, I have the DLC for Zelda.
Why spend the money on all this new stuff whenever you still have so much you want to be playing already?
Exactly right. And also, the 365 for the year, like that would go a long way in November and December because
totally.
everything that comes out is just like so cheap. So I need to be smarter about it and not just buy into all the hype. So I'm, getting a little help from my wife to keep me honest with this because I definitely buy more than I should.
Yeah.
And I've got a couple of new video game projects that I'm not ready to talk about yet, but those are my gaming goals for the year, and those I'm so excited to start these two kind of business projects, really. So those are my goals. I do have one thing that I want you to help me with. That's going to is more of a fun thing. I want you to give me a letter and a number.
A letter and a number.
Yeah.
Let's go with F221.
Okay, that's going to be hard, but I'll do it. So I'm going to go into my PS4 library to the F games, and I'm going to count to the number you gave me.
Oh, God.
There's a lower one, but that's fine.
You didn't limit me. You should have limited me.
It's fine.
Let me give you a different number.
No, I want this one. I'm going to put some time into that game.
Oh, God.
Whatever game it is. So I'll let you all know next week what game that was.
I'm sorry.
I can use... No, it's okay. I can use my maths to divide and figure out
how many pages you need to go.
Exactly right. So it'll be fine. Just because I want to dive into some of the backlog in a fun way too. So I kind of like randomness. So I had my wife do the same thing. So I'm going to touch 2 games and just play them a little bit and just, have fun with stuff that I have, keep it fresh, because that's kind of the addiction of new stuff.
Yeah.
Buying new games is like it's fresh and new, but I don't need to buy anything. I really don't, and I have so much to play. So I'll be basically playing Persona 5 for the next year.
Do you have one I wanted to play? You have Chrono Trigger? You got it, right?
Oh yeah, I have it on my DS.
We should play that at some point, same time.
It's funny that you mentioned that because I was going to suggest that off camera later as a getting back into us playing a game, but more not just in this month, but just each week check in on a game.
Yeah.
And I was hoping that might be it because I want to play it and it's perfect for mobile, on my 3DS.
If only it was on the Switch, too.
I know, but
soon. I bet soon. Actually, we talk about upcoming 2018. The thing I'm more excited about than anything is Nintendo to announce what their virtual console, their crazy, what it's going to be, that Netflix of Nintendo games, basically.
Right.
I want more info on that because holy crap, if you just give me the Super Nintendo library, awesome, sold.
Yeah.
Done.
Well,
I will pay $10 a month to have all Super Nintendo games.
Right. And that's from someone who just bought a classic and who has Super Nintendo on their 3DS. Give it to me on the Switch.
Yeah, kind of, because I just don't want to carry multiple things around.
Yeah, no, it makes sense. Yeah, I would love to dig into Chrono Trigger.
Okay.
We should definitely we should do that.
Okay, let's do it.
Well, thanks everyone for listening to us throughout 2017. This is the end of our second year together doing this, episode 120, and wow, there's so much more to talk about next year. Looking forward to it.
So am I.
Well, good night, everyone, and have a happy and safe New Year's. And this will be up on New Year's Days for your listening.
Happy New Year, everyone.
All right, night, folks.